I know this is something that we've all been waiting to talk about. And this is Horace Grant on Tuesday. Grant went on ESPN radio in Chicago, was asked about The Last Dance, and Horace said he would describe it as, quote, entertaining, and adding most was BS. Take a listen to this.
I would say, entertaining, but, we know who was there as teammates that about 90% of it was, I don't know if I can say it on air, but BS. It wasn't real because a lot of things that he said to some of his teammates that his teammates went back at him, but all of that was kind of edited out of the documentary, if you want to call it a documentary.
I mean, Horace had a whole lot to say. That was just a little bit. The whole interview was pretty heated. Yeah. Perk, let's go to you first. What do you think of Horace's comments?
Hey, raise your right hand. I am Michael Jeffrey Jordan. You swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth so help you God? I do. Hey, listen. MJ flat out broke the players' code. I mean, he snitched. He threw people under the bus, and he didn't have to. Like, you don't have to. If you're that great, you don't have to, like, throw other players or other people under the bus to show how great you were. Like, he had to write off every clip and sign off on every clip that was out there, right? Like, you could have said, nah, I don't want to sign off on this and make Scottie Pippen look bad. Or, nah, I don't want to do this because it's going to make such and such look bad. But, like, to go out and talk about, oh, yeah, my rookie year, I remember I wasn't going in the room with those guys. They was in there doing cocaine. Like, really, Mike? It's a player's code that's, like, you cannot do that. Like, and I can't break down the player's code on here because then I would be breaking the player's code, right? So I can't do that. But, like, some things you're supposed to take to your grave and some things that you're not supposed to even think about saying. And I just think that Mike threw a lot of guys under the bus. He didn't care. At the end of the day, when we finished watching The Last Dance, Mike was labeled a superhero. Everybody else was the bad guys and villains. And I just thought it was wrong. Like that from my eyes. And he didn't need to do that because his game and the way that he carried himself on the court was enough that he didn't have to sabotage anybody's character. Like, I thought he went too hard on Cross. Like, Cross drafted Scottie Pippen. Like, when he took over as being the GM, he did a pretty good job. Like, Jordan killed a lot of people in that documentary and made, like, a lot of people look bad. And I think he was just wrong. Like, you just can't do that. Just think about this real quick. Y'all remember a couple years back when D'Angelo Russell did that to Swaggy P and broke up his household. And when they was with the Lakers and he snitched and let out information out of the locker room and everybody killed him. He was getting called the snitch on the court. Nobody liked him. So it's like, it's no difference for MJ. Like, some of the things he was saying, I was sitting looking at the TV like, oh, no, he didn't. Like, you just can't break them rules. Like, that's the law.
Yeah, I would say this, Perk. You know, there's an old fable about the scorpion and the frog, and the scorpion trying to cross the lake, and then they can't swim. So it says to the frog, "Can you carry me, please?" And the frog says, "Sure." And he carries across the lake, and at the end of it, the scorpion stings him. And the frog's down, like, "Why would you sting me?" He's like, "Bro, I'm a scorpion." And like, did you not notice? That's who Michael Jordan is. That's who he always been. He always been a guy where it's everybody else's fault, and it's not my fault, and I was well within my rights to say this or do this or whatever because there's an interest of winning. And I'm not here to tell you that he's right, and I'm not here to tell you that he did or did not break the player's code. I'm just telling you that he didn't do anything out of character. That's what he's been doing. Now, some of the stories that you're talking about were stories that were already out there. So I don't know if you can snitch on something that's already like the
no, but it's a difference though, Amin, of assuming and actually getting evidence. Point. Like, we assume that this was happening during this time, but to actually get evidence and have somebody take the stand and testify.
But like, so him saying that it was Horace behind the Jordan Rules book. So
Right.
that's what he was really. But then Horace comes out and said, look, there needed to be two sources. So he wasn't necessarily denying that he could have been one of those sources.
He said it wasn't him. He's denied that it wasn't him multiple times. But he also said, even if it was me, there had to have been someone else. And he didn't accuse anybody else. He didn't accuse Phil. He didn't accuse Jerry Krause. He didn't accuse Scotty. And from the documentary, I believe it was BJ who said it. Multiple people talked to Sam.
Yeah, it was BJ.
And I understand that, but can y'all explain to me, like, okay, yeah, we all assumed in the 90s that they were doing, whatever, right? That's why drug tests are so, like, strict now.
They're strict now because of the 80s.
Right? But we assume. But we never had a player, like we never had a Larry Bird, a Magic Johnson, or anybody else that come out publicly and say, oh, yeah, guys were doing cocaine back then. Like, no, like, you can't air that out. Like, I'm not a guy to sit up here and say, oh yeah, I didn't smoke weed before. Yeah, I smoked weed with such and such. Yeah, we do it all the time. Like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I get your point on calling out those incidents. Another issue, though, is that Horace Grant called it a so-called documentary because I think a lot of these former players thought this documentary was going to be about that Last Dance team and leading up to it. But clearly, this was always going to be from the perspective of Michael Jordan because it's either, and if you have an issue with that, this is what it comes down to whether or not you believe that Michael Jordan is an authority of the NBA, is an authority of the game, and that his perspective matters. And that's what people care about. People would not be tuning in, for the Horace Grant story. They're tuning in to hear from Michael Jordan. And so the majority of this documentary was always going to be from his perspective.
And I get it, Cassidy, but I'm just saying on the flip side of it, we knew this. We're going into it, we knew that this documentary was about Jordan. I knew it. You knew it. Amin knew it. But I'm saying, like, you don't have to tear down other people's character, like, because, like, at the end of the day, you judge
Scorpion. Scorpion.
I'm just saying, like, I just felt like that was wrong. And we all know, like we said on the last show, Scotty is a great guy. But right now, you look at Scott, the world is looking at Scotty like he's a selfish individual. Like, the hood people is like, man, I ain't never messing with Scotty. And Scotty is a great guy. And I just felt like so many people got killed. And like I said, at the end of the day, Jordan come out as the hero and everybody else taking L.
I wouldn't necessarily say that Jordan came out as it added to a lot of Jordan propaganda. But I think it also pointed out that Jordan wasn't this be like Mike type guy. That he was mean, he was a bully. Like, these conversations but are real and present right now.
The weird thing is he was mean, he was bully, and what did we have on Monday morning? People say, it's good to be mean and a bully. It gets the best out of your coworkers and teammates. It's and that's what Perk is talking about. When you're Michael Jordan, whatever you say becomes reality. Even when I say, yeah, I did it, everyone's like, man, he's so great for doing it, rather than saying, oh, that was terrible. No one walked away from this feeling worse about Michael Jordan or thinking less of him. But a lot of people walked away thinking less of Horace Grant. I
would say no one walked away from this documentary feeling less about Michael Jordan. Even you yourself, Amin, have come out and said that your biggest takeaway from this is that you felt like he was a troubled guy. And that I'm special. Ain't that the truth?
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.